So welcome back, guys, to another XS Talking, and I haven't made a video on this channel in a while, and I haven't forgotten about it. I've just been so busy on my main channel, the Xander Scullion channel, and the last video I made on this channel, I was talking about YouTube advice, and I had some people be like, "Man, you need to keep talking about this," and I'm going to be tackling a subject that I don't really feel like is advice because it's something that I'm not too entirely familiar with, but I'm just looking at it from an outsider looking in, because of doing YouTube for about 4 years, I've seen some ins and outs, and I don't want to awaken a sleeping giant because this was actually a huge controversy for a couple of weeks in the gaming community. It caused a lot of controversy, and honestly, I'll go off the record and say that for me personally, being someone in the community, it was emotionally exhausting. I did not like seeing a lot of people that I know fighting with each other, and it was getting to the point where I was just wanting to back away from everything. It was getting a little too much for me. I got a lot more like real life subjects to be more concerned with than stuff in YouTube, because YouTube is a hobby for me. That's all it is. But one of the questions that I saw a lot of videos doing responses to, and they were saying, "Is YouTube a job? Can YouTube be a job?" And I want to talk a little bit about that. First off, I want to say that I think YouTube can be a job. In more ways than one. Of course, if you're making an income, if this is your job per se, like if you're making videos and this is how you pay your bills and how you buy your food and whatnot, then yes, YouTube is a job. Just by definition, you're working for income. That is a job. And, some people, they don't look at it as a job, because it's not working a 9 to 5. It's a little more like entrepreneurism. It's a little bit more of working for yourself, being your own boss in that sense, being a content creator. But there comes a lot of different things that happens with YouTube, and one of the reasons why I don't do any sort of monetization on my channel, one is because I don't have a big channel on my main channel. It's not big enough. I don't feel like going through the heartache and the turmoil of the copyright strikes and the negative stigma that comes with putting a 30-second ad in the beginning of your videos. All of a sudden you're a sellout. And, it makes me think of like, I use this metaphor a lot. It makes me think of, playing music. Because I would see so many bands that would go out there and they would start doing, really well, and they'd start, playing more shows, and people are like, "Oh, well, they're just a sellout." And I think sellout is such a cop-out word. I think it's one of those things that people just throw as an instant insult, and I don't think being a sellout is necessarily that bad. If you're putting out a product and you're successful at it, it's okay to sell out in that sense. Now, if you are totally changing your content and changing who you are, and forgetting the people who made you who you are because they're not at a certain sort of status, then that's when selling out's kind of wrong. That's just being a shitty person. It has nothing to do with selling out. But I'm rambling a little bit, which I'm probably won't be doing a lot in this video. But yeah, YouTube can be a job. It can be very stressful, and that's the reason why I keep it as a hobby. And of course, you have stuff like Patreon. You have, all the GoFundMes and Indiegogos and stuff like that, and most of those have a negative stigma to them. Me personally, I like Patreon. I think Patreon, Kickstarters, and stuff like that, if it's done well, I think it's a great tool. I look at it as what a lot of people say. It is a virtual tip jar. And with that being said, keep it as a virtual tip jar. I know some people, when they have Patreons, if you donate a certain amount of money, you can have extra perks. Maybe you see a video before anyone else. Maybe get behind the scenes, maybe Q&As, maybe be involved in, the content creation, and that's cool. But when you start putting out content that you cannot get anywhere else unless you're a Patreon backer, it's not a virtual tip jar at that point. It is a subscription service. Doesn't matter if you're charging someone $1, $5, $20, $100. It doesn't matter. It's a subscription service at that point, and that's how I look at it. And if someone wants to do that, that's cool. That's their prerogative. It's their Patreon. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to lose sleep at night knowing that someone's doing something different than how I would do it, because in the end of the day, it's their Patreon, it's their channel, it's their reputation. It's not me. So who cares? So, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and go in a big rant about YouTubers and stuff like that, because I feel like there's nothing that really gets, accomplished with that stuff. I feel like it just causes more fights than discussions. And, I see a lot of YouTubers, they get upset about Adblock. Adblock is kind of stupid in some sense when it comes to YouTube anyway, because, a lot of people like myself, I watch YouTube more than I watch cable. I don't have cable, so why is it going to kill me to watch a 30-second to 15-second ad for a video just to watch it? I mean, think about if I was to watch, say The Walking Dead. Look how many commercials that show has. Ads have to exist. That's how YouTube gets paid. And then, Google or YouTube ends up paying the content creators, and they don't make much, and that's why they go to Patreon to kind of make ends meet, because Patreon kind of helps them continue to make content in the sense that you're not just giving away money to somebody. If they're using the Patreon for their channel, it can help replace computers, it can help replace equipment, upgrade equipment, maybe save money for a convention, because conventions aren't cheap, and unless you're invited to that convention, you're still paying out of your pocket. And that kind of reminds me of when I played in a band, and people always thought that if you play in a band, you just play a show, and there's going to be some, guy in the back corner who's a record producer that will see you play, and all of a sudden, boom, you become a rock star. And it does not work like that at all anymore. It's not, 1990. Ever since the internet came out, that the talent scouting is still around, but it's not like that at all whatsoever. So Patreon gives content creators a chance to kind of continue doing what they love. And, as long as someone's doing something that they love, you can't really hate them for it. I think it's really, really not productive to sit there and just hate for no reason. Unless they give you a reason, there's really... it doesn't solve anything. It just causes everything I saw, a couple of weeks ago, where people were just fighting each other, and what was accomplished? Nothing was accomplished. People just got pissed off at each other, and that's not what made me want to join the community. That's not what made me want to join YouTube. Was drama. When I think of drama, I think of high school, and it reminds me of why I was so apt to get the fuck out of there. Well, I was so apt to just get the best grades I could and get the hell out of high school. I got tired of the cliques. I got tired of, the jocks and the preps and the labeling and the pressure that went with it. And that was 10 years ago. And I'm so glad it was 10 years ago. And I don't want to relive that now with something that I consider a passion and a hobby. So all I can say is fuck drama. Just fuck it. Oh, man. But yeah, so, I don't really think this is even YouTube advice. I guess this is kind of a soapbox here. This is just me letting, some steam off I've had in the last couple of weeks that's really been eating at me. That, YouTube can be a job. It can. It depends on what you do about it. As YouTubers as well, I do want to say, be open-minded. Have an open mind on constructive criticism. There's a difference between shooting someone down and constructive criticism. If someone talks about your content, remember that they are a viewer. They are someone who sees it differently than you do. And if they think that you're doing something that's not right, take it. Take it as a grain of salt. Don't always think that, if someone says, hey, man, this content you're putting out is really not your best stuff. Don't take it so offensively. Take it as it is and be like, okay, this person who's watching me, someone who's a subscriber to my channel, feels like the stuff that I'm putting out is not up to par. What can I do to change that? Because your overall goal in YouTube is to entertain people, not just entertain yourself. You know, we do this because we are kind of pessimistic in some ways. We look at each other and we're just like, yeah, you know, but we have to entertain people. That's the biggest thing. It's entertainment. So keep that in mind. Also, don't shoot down your fans either. You know, I'll go back to the Adblock. You know, I've seen YouTubers that get pissed off about Adblock, and they'll be like, you know, thanks a lot. You guys are taking away my meal. I cannot eat now because of Adblock. Educate your viewers. Let them know, man, Adblock is not helping me out. If you guys really enjoy my content, turn the fucker off. Because when you sit there and you tell your viewers that, you know, I can't eat, you know, fuck you guys for all my free content, to me that sounds like you're making it just for the coin. You're making it just for the money, not the hobby. And you're going through the same exact thing that everyone else in entertainment goes through. Musicians. You know why a lot of musicians don't tour that much anymore, or why it's so hard to tour? Because of piracy. Because bands get their albums downloaded, bands get their albums leaked, and everyone has it. That's the whole point of touring, is to promote your next album. And if a lot of people have that album and they're all listening to it in their house, and we're already becoming this natural introvert society where we all stay inside, we don't go outside and interact with anybody unless they're behind a screen or a keyboard, it's killing it. So keep in mind with that. Same thing with, you know, the film industry. The film industry is not what it used to be. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina, where it's pretty much the East Hollywood. You know, we've had movies like The Crow, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Super Mario Brothers, Iron Man 3, Maximum Overdrive, the freaking Andy Griffith Show, Madlock. So many great movies that used to be filmed here in Wilmington, but the film industry has lost so much money. They've went to cheaper places. They don't come to Wilmington anymore. And that's because of piracy. It is what it is. So, you know, be a little cautious. Understand that your viewers are not just subscribing numbers. They are people that have feelings and think about shit. And, you know, when the first thing you talk about is money with YouTube, that's what it's going to look like. It looks like you're just in it for the money. And even if you're not, you know, if you're in it for the passion, make it more apparent. You know, be a lot more open about it, you know. That felt good. That really felt good. I don't even know if I'm going to upload this, but it just felt good to kind of let this all out. But anyway, guys, thank you for staying in this, you know, 13-minute soapbox of me talking. And, you know, I am going to make some more videos on this channel. It's not all going to be about YouTube stuff. I'm thinking about talking about some wrestling, some more music chat, and stuff other than video games. But if you guys do enjoy video games and you're not familiar with my other content on my main channel, I'll have a link on the description below so you guys can check out my gaming channel where I do reviews, let's plays, unboxings, and I also host an audio podcast as well called Excess Gaming Podcast. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and talk to you soon.